Hey guys, so I've been slacking a little bit on doing the videos, so I'm going to do a quick one here. A question I keep getting a lot about, after the Bigger Pockets podcast is how was I able to scale the business so quickly? And, I think so I'm going to start off here by saying I've had just about zero original thoughts. So pretty much everything I've learned has been something I've read in a book or something I've learned from a mentor or things like that. But one of the things that I've learned to do is I put a lot more value on my time, and it's just kind of a way of thinking. So you have to learn how to multiply your time for one, and what that means is basically focusing on the high value tasks. So in any business, there are a small number of crucial tasks that actually make the big difference. So in investing, it's lead generation, figuring out how to actually get the deals. It's managing the rehab process, getting the house to the right price, getting the rehab budget right, and getting the after repair value right. So there's a small number of critical activities that make the difference, and a lot of the other stuff is just kind of noise. So the key there is figuring out all of the non-essential items. I mean, there's still so getting insurance set up on a house, for example, it has to happen, but it's a low value task. So you can have somebody else do that for you. So stuff like that, we try to delegate as much of that as possible. So the idea is eliminate the task, delegate it, or systematize it as much as possible to free up your time. So I made some notes here. If you guys have ever heard of the 80-20 principle, or Pareto's principle, he basically the principle goes that 20% of your actions result in 80% of the results, and figuring out what is those 20% tasks that you should be spending your time on to get the most results is definitely key there. And one of the biggest thing for people to get past is kind of the do-it-yourself mentality. So if you go hang out with, millionaires and billionaires, they're not mowing their lawn. So like the do-it-yourself stuff, the reason that they're not doing it is not because they're too good for it. It's because, they put a high value on their time. And, if you can pay somebody 15, 20 bucks an hour to do something, if your time is worth $100, $200 an hour, you really have no business doing that. And everybody needs free time as well. So like a good example of that we've done is we actually hired somebody to come clean the house every other week. And previously to me that kind of seemed like a luxury, and in a way it is, but the reality is that my time is better spent doing investing, and that could be time that I could spend and go buy our next house flip, and it'll easily pay for that house, that housekeeper, right? So it's better use of my time. And incidentally, I was talking about having no original ideas. So I read a statistic the other day that said the average CEO reads, I think it's 50 books a year, whereas the average American reads something like, I think it's 3, maybe 5, something like that. And I'm telling you, that is not a coincidence. So Jim Rohn has this quote where he says, conventional education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And I absolutely think that, the key to getting ahead in life is education. So constant education, constantly, learning and trying to improve yourself is absolute key. And, from the outside looking in, it probably looks like, we've been able to do pretty well here in the last couple of years, but, I'm not special in any way. I just spend a lot of time on my education, and then I actually follow through and try to put it to use. I screw up all the time. I'm definitely not perfect. There's things that I try to implement and I fail at, but I just keep trying, and that's been the difference and the reason that we've been able to do so well. So hope you guys find that helpful. Thanks.